Well, this is a scam alert, and it's one that actually involves some really large creators. I'm not calling out specific creators in this video. That's not the purpose of this. There are other people who have called these people out already, so I'd implore you to look up other resources. Rather, I want to call out the scam itself and sort of talk to you through how to identify it, because it is a disturbing trend that I've noticed in the LEGO community for the past few years, honestly. And it seems to be a trend that's getting more popular. And it's unfortunate because it involves a lot of creators who are basically taking advantage of their audience to make money financially, right? Okay, so let's identify the scam. First off, what is the problem? Well, it is creators who are criticizing LEGO sets not for ways that LEGO necessarily deserves, and there are ways you can criticize LEGO that they truly deserve. Objective criticisms about the value of products, the fragility of product, the availability of products. If you get a set that's missing parts, has damaged parts, has prints that are all kinds of messed up, or improper colors, the sticker sheets ripped up or bent or damaged, whatever the case may be, you know, bad rubber bands, it's got instructions booklets, whatever the case is, those are objective problems, and you have a right as a consumer to seek out a resolution to those problems. LEGO's customer service is more than happy to help, and they are fantastic when it comes to this stuff. However, subjective problems are problems that have to do with a specific set based on your own opinions. I'm going to give you an example of both these. First off, a bit of an age of myself is this. This right here is a very notably fragile piece. This is a piece that was introduced to Bionicle in 2008 specifically. You'll notice it is broken. I actually broke that in a previous recording because this was in mint condition. Very easy to break this piece, unfortunately. But this is an example of a piece that never should have passed quality control, never should have made it through playtesting. Honestly, it is the squared off sockets from 2008 Bionicle, from 2009, 2010, even in some sets later than that. Very notably fragile. This is a quality control problem on LEGO's part. And if we lived in the good timeline, LEGO would have recalled these, would have fixed these. But clearly, they didn't. Now, what is an example of a subjective problem with a set? Well, I'm going to give you Kopaka Uniter as an example, because I think that as a toy, this is a great toy. A little bit overpriced when it first came out, definitely overpriced today, but a good toy nonetheless. It is contrived in some of its own ways, and there are absolutely issues I have with it, but all those issues are issues that are my own opinions, against my own preferences. I don't really care for the spring yellowish green here, but objectively, the spring yellowish green goes great with dark blue, goes great with white on the character. That said, I think overall, it's a fine build, in fact, a good build in some ways. An objective problem in terms of the way it's built would be something like the problem with the shoulders colliding with the head. That's little things, right? No. The problem I have, the scam, starts to come when it comes to sellers that resell, specifically going out of their way to tell their audiences of sometimes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers or viewers per potential video, not to buy specific sets. And oftentimes it's sets with desirable figures, desirable parts. This is something I see happen all the time in the Star Wars community especially, but it does happen elsewhere in LEGO as well. And they'll go out of their way to tell you not to buy them. Maybe they believe the things they're telling you. Maybe the opinions that they're giving you are subjective opinions, but they're never giving you that discretion. They're never being transparent with you with what is their opinion. It's why, for example, I really like Jangbricks over here on YouTube, because he's very clear when he has a subjective problem with a set versus an objective problem with a set. Again, subjective just being opinions, objective just being factual, right? Now, here's the thing. You, as a consumer of LEGO, have every right to criticize LEGO, both subjectively and objectively, but you have a responsibility to your viewers to distinguish those opinions and those criticisms, because when you present those to your audience as criticisms without clarification, you can convince a shocking amount of your fan base to not buy a set when you have the full intention yourself of actually buying not just one, but sometimes tens, 50s, hundreds, or even thousands of copies of these sets. It's insane. And it's crazy because I've seen examples of this where these presenters, these LEGO influencers, will tell you not to buy a set all the while on a different platform posting pictures where they have 50 or more of the same box set. And in some ways, is that supposed to be like a flex? But it's also an investment, right? Because these are often, in fact, nearly without fail, people with their own resale shops on Bricklink or sometimes even their own websites, where what they will do is they will buy up large swaths of the supply of a product, tell you not to buy it, which does inevitably harm the purchases of the product while it's live on shelves. And then when the product inevitably gets retired, well, suddenly their views have changed and they think you should buy it. Here's a good investment vehicle. And oh, would you look at that? They have some for sale. It's going to be $50 instead of 10, or $100 instead of 10, or more. Now, I'm not saying you can't invest in Lego. I think you can invest in a lot of things you enjoy. I don't do it. It's not my thing. There are some pieces that I've bought that are expensive. There are some sets that I bought that turn out to be expensive later on down the road. I'm not against selling sets at market value, but there are also, and a second part of this scam, because it just kind of rolls over on itself, are sellers who will sell a product to themselves or amongst each other to artificially drive up the price, to price fix, essentially. To essentially drive up the price artificially of a product and generate demand for it. And this happens a lot in the Bionicle community. And it's unfortunate because it's not something a lot of people call out, or when it is acknowledged, some people will just say like, oh, well, that's just how you play the game. And that's disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, but I am going to judge you as a pretty terrible person if that's the opinion you come away with. Because no, it is bad to manipulate the market. Full stop. Full stop. Not much I can add to that. Here's the thing. You have a responsibility to your viewers to be honest and upfront with your opinions whenever possible. It doesn't mean you're going to not make mistakes or you're going to catch every single fault. It also doesn't mean your opinions aren't going to change over the years. You might hate something one day and then a year, 2, 3, or 4 down the road, suddenly you're like, actually, this one's growing on me. You know, as has happened with some of the G2 sets over time, for me anyway. That said, though, again, I have to make it quite clear. When I see somebody go out of their way to manipulate the market, happens a lot, it really rubs me the wrong way, especially when their answer to this, when they're called out on it, is just to block people or slander those people. That's something I've seen a lot of too, or even threaten like legal action. And it's disgusting because you are taking advantage of your oftentimes young, impressionable fan base to make money. That says a lot more about you than it says about Lego, because at the very least, Lego is willing to honor their quality control in a lot of cases based on the honor system alone. You get something that's damaged from Lego, oftentimes you reach out, they replace it, pretty much no questions asked. Yes, they keep track of if that system's being abused, but at the very least, I've had to order entire new bags that were missing from sets, and Lego's like, yeah, here you go. Just take a picture of like this number and the instructions, we'll send it to you, whatever the case may be. Or reach out, because they want to help. In most cases, like Lego has a really good quality control and really good customer service, but it doesn't mean they're perfect. And yeah, I've seen some things slide by the wayside over the past few years, some things that I have rightfully think I have called out too, the texture of certain pieces, but I've also called out when pieces have gotten better as well, which has also happened recently. I'll talk about that in a separate video. The fact of the matter is, and the point of this video is, that these are a lot of creators, and I think one of the most major ways that you can identify them is twofold. Oftentimes, these are creators that do not mock themselves. They don't create their own custom creations. Some of them do. Sometimes they steal custom creations, though, so you also have to be careful of that, because that also happens. You know, if you're going to scam people, you might as well go all the way, right? But also, a lot of the times, it is people who will have their own Bricklink store. So when they tell you not to buy something, hey, maybe check their store if they have one, or if they link a Bricklink store or website, and then see if they list how many of a quantity they have available. Because if they tell you not to buy something and then you check their store and they've got 10 copies, 20 copies, 30, 50, 100, 150, whatever the case may be, I think some alarm bells should be going off in your head, because that's telling you that this person just lied to you so that you won't buy it, so that a year from now you'll be the sucker who will think that, oh, I missed out, got that FOMO, and I want to buy the set now. And maybe you'll forget they were the one that told you not to buy it in the first place, and you'll buy it from them. So anyway, that's it for this video. Again, if you are a creator of any size, you have a responsibility to be transparent with your audience. You're going to make mistakes. It happens. That's not the thing I'm going to criticize. But a pattern of repeated manipulation and market and deception is, you know, worth calling out. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. It really helps the channel out. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers. That's the next milestone. And of course, as always, check out the links for Discord, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. Let me know your thoughts and examples of these that you may have seen on your own time or that you have just heard about through the grapevine down in the comments below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.